Hello everyone and welcome to another episode here on the MIgardener channel. I'm so excited to be filming this episode today because we're going to be unveiling the plans. This is kind of going to be a year in review. We're going to just start fresh and it's going to be fun. Cindy and I have been anticipating this episode. We've been waiting for this episode. We've been waiting to unveil it, and now is the time to unveil it. We're so excited for it, and that is going to be what is the plan for next year. So this year, before we talk about that, this year was not as good as we had hoped. It was very weedy, as many of you know. It was very wet, it was very cold, and we just frankly did not get up here as often as we should have. It was extremely busy for us, and in-ground beds, they require far more work than some of its other counterparts. And so I know a lot of people say, well, just lay cardboard down. Okay, you lay cardboard down on 3,600 square feet, and you supply the cardboard, I'll do it, okay? And so they always say, you know, lay down the cardboard. And a lot of people say, oh, go to the back to Eden method. And so we've heard that a lot. And a lot of people thought, well, I loved the old raised beds. That was nice. And so to make a long story short, we just didn't like the way this had grown this year. It was not what we had wanted, and it was not ideal. So we put our minds together, and we're gonna till this bed up first. We're gonna till up this giant bed here. We're gonna till up the garden. We're gonna start fresh. We're gonna take all the weeds out. We're gonna take all the trellising out, everything like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to lead into the springtime, which is what we're going to unveil now. Well, me. Cindy wishes she could be here. This is what I'm going to unveil for next year. And what we're planning, the huge plans for this garden, is going to be, drum roll please, raised beds. I know, I hope none of you are upset that we did not try the back to Eden method. I just don't like it that much. I don't like it that much. I just don't. A lot of people love it, and you know what? That's fine. If you love the back to Eden method, that's great. If you love raised beds, that's great. If you love in-ground gardening, that's great. If you love square foot gardening, that's great. You know what? And that's what matters, is the fact that you're growing something. It's all great. And not everyone has to follow a simple, or not everyone has to follow the same method. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do raised beds. This entire garden is going to be raised beds. We don't have the funds right now, but Cindy and I have looked at it and budgeted out. We've said, okay, if we set aside this much money each and every month, we're going to have enough money to supply raised beds for this entire garden. And it's gonna be so exciting. And not just that, to minimize the weeds, we are going to mulch heavily. We found a good source of free mulch from a tree company that's not too far from here. They did agree to drop off the mulch for free, aside from the fact that it's a little bit of a drive, so we agreed to pay for the gas. It's not that big of an expense. It's like 20, 30 bucks for 30 cubic yards of mulch and different stuff. Because it's like mulched leaves, tree trimmings, branches. It's free, so you're not going to get the premium quality stuff, but it's free, and it's going to suppress the weeds, it's going to break down, and it's going to feed the soil. It's going to allow the flora and the fauna to thrive throughout here. So we're going to not be compressing the soil, which is great. And also in the raised beds, we're going to get a chance to really practice our no-till agriculture, which we really have been striving for. It just has never happened because the weeds have been so bad that you have to till. I mean, there's no way you can get around it. You have to till. And so ideally, what this is going to create is a situation which we can reach in the beds and never have to step on them to pack them down. We can weed them very easily because the soil will stay loose, and we can pull out the weeds, and ideally we can have the no-till kind of methods that we really would prefer in an organic garden. So it's going to be much, much better, and I think you all are going to enjoy it. So with that out of the way, hopefully you all enjoyed this garden. It's going to be undergoing huge changes next year, and hopefully no feelings will be hurt. If you do have hurt feelings, feel free to vent in the comments box below. I understand. But if you do think that the change will be welcomed, also let us know in the comments box below. We love to know what people think, but there's really no changing our mind on this. We really, looking back at the old garden at the house, there was just something very nostalgic about it. We loved the way it looked, and after watching old videos and stuff, not having it, as you know, we sold the house and moved to the new house where we set up raised beds in a very similar fashion. Just the way they looked was just It was beautiful. It was so much fun to look back at those videos, and we thought we could do that again. That was not that hard. And so one thing we are going to do though is when we till this ground up, we're actually going to take out all the weeds, or most of the weeds, and we're going to take the soil in the spring. This is beautiful soil. I mean, we trucked in about $700 worth of compost, about 30 cubic yards of compost. It was the size of a bus. The pile was massive, and allowed us to put 5 or 6 inches of gorgeous, gorgeous compost across this entire garden. And we don't want it to go to waste. So what we're going to do is once we till it, take out all the weeds, we're actually going to put the raised beds in, and then we're actually going to scoop out in the walkways all the soil that we normally would grow in, and we're going to move it into the raised beds. That will prevent us from having to buy a whole lot of soil. We might still have to buy a little bit to top off the beds, but it won't be nearly as much as we would normally have to. So we're going to be able to recycle the soil in this garden. It's not going to go to waste, and it's going to be really great, I think. So let's get started. We're just going to till up the garden and take out the trellising and put this garden to bed for the winter. I think it's been long overdue. Okay, let's go.
Crab, apple, crab, if you have to, just smile for me once in a while. Crab, apple, nothing goes right all the time. Crab, apple, crab, if you have to, just smile for me once in a while. Crab, apple, nothing goes right all the time. Caught in the downs of your pocket-sized thundercloud still high, like how you say what you want. Rain it come down, but your blue sky gonna come around and you sing like a bird in the sun. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. Crab, apple, bow your head down neath those blankets of brown. Whisper thanks to our merciful God. Caught in the downs of your pocket-sized thundercloud still high, like how you say what you want. Rain it come down, but your blue sky gonna come around and you sing like a bird in the sun. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
So there you all go. The job is finished, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in a second. But I really wanted to applaud this bad boy here. This is the FRC. It's the Honda FRC 800. It is an amazing, amazing unit. We rent it actually, and I wanted to give that tip out there for anyone, and kind of a shout out for this amazing machine, because nothing beats the quality. The tines dig super deep, and it has great gas efficiency. I mean, we probably use, I think, half a tank was the last time I checked to do that entire 3,600 square feet. And there were certain parts we went back and forth a couple times to make sure we got it really well broken up. So we probably did more than that. And it has the ease of use because it really just does most of the work. You just have to kind of guide it. And I would recommend anybody that is interested in starting a large garden to check out this unit right here. Buy it if you have the opportunity, but I've actually rented it. For us to rent it, it's I think $75 for a full day for 24 hours. So 75 bucks. I'd have to use it, I have to use it about 180 times to justify buying it. So really it makes a lot of sense for me to rent it because I only till once in the spring and once in the fall. And next spring, we probably won't have to till at all because we're gonna just throw the dirt right into the raised beds, and that'll be the end of tilling for us. So if you're someone that really still likes the feeling of an in-ground bed, nothing beats this machine. I just wanted to point that out because I've had a lot of people ask in past videos what tiller I've used. This is just, I cannot speak highly enough of this machine. It's amazing, amazing for the amount of work that it does and the ease that it does it. It's just awesome. So come and look at the work that it did do, and we'll close up. I think it looks great, but it's gonna look even better with raised beds, I think. So let's go take a look. So there you go. There is a final closing of the beautiful in-ground garden. It's gonna be back again next year in a much better form. And I'm really pleased. I'm so proud of the work that's been put into this garden and the success that has come from it. But it's time to upgrade. It's time to build on top of it and to make things a little better, so there's a lot less work that has to be done. So looks pretty good. Give us a thumbs up if you really like how it looks. Nothing beats that nice black soil too, and that's not even wet, it's actually dry, and the soil's just that black because that was pure compost we threw in there, so it was worth it. We will see you all next year in this garden. Make sure to stay tuned for lots more videos though. Don't worry, the gardening videos are going to continue coming. We're going to do a lot of indoor gardening stuff like we talked about, and a lot of how-tos, sprouts, microgreens, and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we're gonna just transition indoors for the winter. But it's nice to put this to bed. It's nice to put this bed to bed, and I will talk to you all later. This is Luke from the MIgardener channel, hoping you all enjoyed, and I'll talk to you all later. See ya. Bye.